Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and today I wanted to do something. I wanted to add to my forecast prediction, my model. I wanted to kind of give a brief explanation of how to use it, because I think a lot of people look at my model and they think, okay, cool, but how does this work and how am I supposed to use it? So the obvious thing is this would be based off of information, expected R share, and all this math is really, we'll use Alabama as our example, but it says pretty much this takes polls and fundamentals, so the state's partisan lean, assuming a 50-50 election. And this goes both ways here, except we flip the sign to make it correct. We add in the 2016 results as kind of a dummy. We take the polling data from this page, from the same states column, right? And since we've got three factors in there, we divide it by 3, okay? I'm probably, as we get closer, going to take this out and only divide it by 2. And the reason I would do that is because at some point we're going to not need the 2016 results, you know? So this means that both the partisanship and the state polling is going to factor in a little more heavily. I may just replace this with the state polling and leave it as divide by 3. That way I'm removing 2016 and just making this more important. I'll do that when we have a Democratic nominee, as I feel that's the best time to do it, rather than do it immediately or do it later. And that will really, that'll change things. We also factor in the Trump's approval rating, as well as some economic factors, as well as incumbency factors. So that's really all this does, and it'll produce it'll produce this. So I compile national polls here, which all go to, at the bottom of each of these pages, you see the national average. The national average on the forecast page has economic and incumbency factored in. This does not, okay? And I'll show you both of these because that's what these maps are here. Is this map here is from the forecast tab on my model, and this is representative of state and national mean tab, okay? Each state has its own page for polling. I actually included the Gallup polls that they published today. So scrolling back. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show you. As of right now, this is kind of what the model is showing for 2020. The forecast tab is showing, and this because it factors in a lot of fundamentals, which some people say, well, don't use those because, well, you shouldn't, because we have polls. Polls capture everything. Well, not always. 2016 is a prime example, but I'm not using that as my proof. You do want to include fundamentals in your models. 538 does, and I think it's a smart thing to do. Is it perfect? No, but it will help capture any error that's going to be in polls. Are they weighted heavily right now? Yes, but my excuse is it's 2019. This election isn't happening till November of 2020, so we've got almost 2 years. I think it's fair right now to include fundamentals and weigh 2016 fairly heavily right now. I think that's fair. Is it perfect? No. Is it fair? Yeah, I think it is. And this is the polls only, the state and national mean tab. And I went through, and yeah, if you went based off of this page solely, yeah, things don't look very pretty for Trump. And to be fair, that's to be expected. This just takes the polling numbers and just says this is what it is. So if you want a polls only look, I have that. And yeah, it's not good for Donald Trump. He's, potentially losing Texas or Kansas or Utah. Indiana and South Carolina are competitive. He's lost North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Ohio even. Interestingly enough, Pennsylvania and Iowa aren't super solid. And this shows a bit more of a traditional, what you would expect if the Democrat wins by, or how much is it in this? It's a little bit over 5%. And I could see this may be much for a 5% win considering Trump won despite losing by 3. I think that this may be overstating it too much, and we'll know because right now these are just based off of his approval. When we actually start getting state-by-state polls of him versus a generic Democrat, I'm going to include that. I'm not going to average out his polls versus the various cadre of Democratic candidates because I don't think that's going to capture an accurate picture. In addition, I just don't have the time to do that. But yeah, so that's kind of the picture and guideline on how to use this. Obviously, what you do if you want to add a poll is you go here, say a national poll showed Donald Trump up 55-45, right? And it was among likely voters. So what you do is you would add it, you would go here, that little blue square, and you take it down. All this is 100 minus these two, the difference of 100 and Republican and Democratic totals added up. You go here, you would hit plus, you would scroll down, click this. Since we're only adding one poll, you go here, but the quick way to do it is just whatever this row column is. You take this, and you subtract 2, and you get whatever this winds up being. 28, and divide by 26. And that would change it, and that would change it. And you don't only take it over to this because this creates a difference. And when you have as many polls as I do in here already, it doesn't really change the picture that much. Okay, so I'm actually going to hit here and go Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Just because I was only using that as an example. And of course, that's just the way it works, and that's how to use it. And anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye.